Make a motion that we write an ordinance reviewed by the city attorney, of course, in paying.
This one right there and this one right there.
Paying from public works funds the sum of not less than $3,000 to cover the deductible and all the other aggravation and mental, which isn't even close to what we should be looking at as a minimum, $3,000.
For the sake of discussion, I will second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to take $3,000 out of Public Works. Discussion.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd heard initially that the request was to pay the deductible on the insurance, which was $1,000, which I'd be in favor of.
Ms. Balance.
Ms. Clark did ask originally for $1,000 to cover her deductible. And, you know, we probably should have offered that up right away because it's probably not even close to what all of this is actually worth. In research, we found out that in December of 2000, a resident at 61 Peerless had an incident. Ordinance number 1858 set up that Complete Restoration, which is a firm out of, I believe, Springdale, yes, would do the restoration work from start to finish for her and guarantee it. And at that time, that estimate was $18,635.79. I talked to the person who had this incident happen in 2000, and she said Kirby Murray was the public works director, and he immediately took care of everything. She had to deal with virtually nothing. She had to pay for. They got her out of her home immediately and put her up in a motel. They paid. City council paid, or city paid all those costs. Additionally, she was out of her home for 9 months while the restoration was going on. So she found an apartment to rent, and the city took care of every penny of that. So we're talking a lot of money. We're talking more closer to, I'm saying $25 grand at least, and that was 10 years ago. So $1,000 is, it doesn't even come close to being what this woman deserves for the pain and anguish she's been through. Nobody could get to her for the first couple of days, so she had to clean it up herself. Clean up as much as she could herself. And that was probably worth several $1,000s if a company had to come in and do that for her. Now, she did that all herself. Nobody's being charged anything for that. She had to clean up, a ton of crap. And I really feel badly that she had to do that, but nothing I can do about that. But here we are right now, and we can go forward. Her home, I was over to visit her home. Her home still has somewhat of a sewage odor. Not terrible, but it's there. The sewage was there long enough that it soaked into a lot of her subfloors, into her studs, into her heating ducts, and so forth. She went to clean it up. She cleaned it up as well as she could, and she went to clean up some more of the ducts, and she saw where there was a connection. There was still sewerage dripping from that space. So, she needs major restoration to her home, and it needs to be done by a company who will guarantee it. Now, in speaking with the family, I've found out that she's gotten some estimates from companies that are around $8 grand to repair the damage, but they're not going to guarantee it. So that could leave her in the future with black mold problems if she ever wanted to sell her home. If there's no guarantee that this problem has been dealt with and disinfected appropriately and properly and guaranteed, And who's going to want to buy a house that's been inundated with raw sewage, and there's no guarantee that you won't have problems in the future with black mold or health problems or rashes all over your skin. She had 10K coverage. Now, I'm about to pretty much guarantee, I'm married to a retired contractor, and he guaranteed me that the damage he saw, 10K is not going to touch, even though she did several $1,000s worth of cleaning on her own. This 10K also had some depreciation, about $2,000 worth of depreciation. So that takes her down to 8K. Her house insurance has gone up because she had to report this to her insurance company to get any kind of help, because after she called the mayor and he said that we couldn't help her watch, she had to do that. And so here's an elderly woman on a fixed income whose house insurance just went up because our public works department went to a clean out at the bottom of German Alley and shot high pressure toward her home, which is at the dead end. Her home is at the end of that sewer pipe. So in essence, our city works department, public works department, jetted from uphill toward a dead end, which was her house. Now, where was all that supposed to go? So obviously there's a big problem here. What did you say, $3,000, Mr. Parnell?
That's just a
That was,
starting
okay,
point.
I was saying that's a starting point. But in my opinion, it's $3,000 is a drop in the bucket. I think we ought to buy her house and let her live there as long as she wants to. Yeah, I'll make that motion.
There's already a motion.
I'll amend the motion. I amend that motion to say we buy Nellie Clark's house and let her live there as long as she wants.
All right, motion been made to buy Miss Nellie Clark's house. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, roll call vote, I guess.
3-3.
How can we vote on something that we've already got a motion on the table and
We're
we're
voting on it.
discussing?
Yeah, we're voting on the amended motion.
It's 3-3.
3-3,
Let's do a roll call vote.
roll call vote.
Thanks, James, but I need to know.
Mr. Weaver?
Before you do that, you may want to consider that that would be an illegal act.
How's that?
That would be giving a public benefit to a private citizen when you let her live there. If you want to buy the house and condemn it and destroy it, that's a different matter. But if you give her free rent, you're giving her a public benefit of public money to a private citizen.
Thank you. Then I will amend I will withdraw that motion, and I will restate a motion. I move that the city buys Nellie Clark's house at, what do I want, the fair market value? I know I
It
don't.
would be a process of eminent domain, which is a long and complicated process.
Okay, she probably wants money sooner than that. Okay, I'll withdraw that motion. Go ahead and discuss a little bit, and I'll think about it a little longer.
Might I direct a question to Ms. Clark?
Yes, that's what she's here for.
Is this case still open with your insurance company?
What do you mean by that, still open?
I mean, have you signed off, have you settled with your insurance company, and all monies from your insurance company have been
They
paid
have
to you?
sent me a check, and I have not cashed the check yet because I want to know what I'm dealing with. I know the check is not going to cover my repair. I haven't settled nothing with them at all.
Well, I'm just going on your statement that you had asked the city to pay for your deductible, and that's where I'm coming from. And I think that request has been made, and I'd feel confident in fulfilling that request.
Mr. Weaver?
You need to be aware also that if you give her money, that's subject to subjugation to that insurance claim. The insurance company is going to get the money, not her. So the insurance company has already notified the city of subjugation.
What about other expenses?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Pownell?
Not being aware of that, and 3,000 being a drop in the bucket, you know, the various emails and phone calls, you know, even looking at the one email from an expert as far as exposure to numerous pathogenic organisms, coming in contact with sewage, cleaning that all up by herself, stated that we pay our own employees hepatitis A and B immunizations. The city should pay for the cleanup and any repairs that need to be done to her home, and they should also be responsible for any medical bills. This, you know, you can't put a dollar amount on what this poor lady has been through and feel like a proper action has been taken. We've apparently known in the past, because we have a budget line set up for $5,000 for damages, and I realized she was very amiable just getting her deductible back. But you know, after you start looking at it, you know, when we pass an ordinance that pays for complete paying and damages, and we don't do it for somebody else, it just, I'm sorry. I've been called enough bad names in my life and been associated with this action before we even got it to the table, and that in itself is an embarrassment.
Really.
Mr. Weaver?
In the last 4 years, in litigation, we have asserted a tort immunity repeatedly to the tune of probably claims of over $300,000. So we've not paid a lot of other people who have asked for money.
Well, we aren't being
Why-
sued. We're being asked to help out, which
You-
we did 9 years ago.
Pownell?
And we
I
have
believe you're recognized, sir.
we have repeatedly asserted tort immunity, which is the state code allows, for other people who have asked for money and who have not brought lawsuits. We
And
have
tell me
asserted
something,
that
if your mother,
Ma'am,
Excuse me.
ma'am, you can't interrupt. Okay.
I'm sympathetic, but I gotta tell you what the law is. And I can be sympathetic to the other people that have had it told to them. We have asserted it over falls on sidewalks that were city. We have asserted it on accidents where other individuals have fell from city structure. We have asserted it on claims that involve water damage, sewer damage. We've asserted it on claims where they said that the city has not followed through with following its own regulations and enforcing code violations on private individuals. It has repeatedly been used. And so to say that we paid 1 or 2 or even 20 individuals is not to recognize all the other individuals and companies that we have asserted it against repeatedly.
Mr. Pownell?
So for point of clarification, the city of Eureka Springs has tort immunity on being sued for anything, correct?
No, sir. If you'd like, I can read you the statute.
Well, I'm just,
Tort immunity is asserted under 21-9-301. It is declared to be the public policy of the state of Arkansas that all counties, municipal corporations, school districts, special improvement districts, and all other political subdivisions of the state, and any of their boards, commissions, agencies, authorities, or other governing bodies shall be immune from liability and from suit for damages, except to the extent that they may be covered by liability insurance. Section B. No tort action shall lie against any such political subdivision because of the acts of its agents or employees.
Mr. Pownell?
so that means that the threat of a lawsuit for the cell tower was not under the
Mr. Pownell,
auspices of tort
not
immunity.
pertinent to this.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
No,
It's-
sir,
it's-
no,
it's-
sir, it is not. That is not an assertion
It's a
of
dis-
tort.